Huh? There's a new mascot horror game out? No, I can't play another one of those. I'm sorry, but I just can't. What? It's a sequel to a popular one? No, that's even worse. If I have to see Ban Ban or Poppy one more time, I think I might lose it. Wait, it's Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, why didn't you say so? I wouldn't call myself a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. I mean, I own every game, several of the books, and I've made several videos on the series. Okay, I may be a bit of a fan, but there's always been a magic behind the series. Starting out as a simple point-and-click horror game, Five Nights at Freddy's has revolutionized the horror genre and shown that anyone can make the next big thing. And to see the community building theories trying to solve the series and watching fans react to Markiplier yell,
"Was that the bite of 87?"
is really cool. Plus, it doesn't hurt that the games aren't half bad. I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game and had a bad experience. At worst, I was just kind of bored. But now we got a brand new one by Steelwool, who made Security Breach, the game that got me into the series in the first place. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited to play it. I can't wait to see Bonnie and Chica and Freddy and oh, clowns. We're doing clowns now. Okay, good, great. Yeah, no, I thought this was Five Nights at Freddy's, but yeah, sure. I guess we don't need Freddy Fazbear, you know, the star of the series. Who even is the Mimic? Last time I saw them, there was some decaying robot in a cave below the Pizzaplex. Oh, what's that? I needed to read like 8 books first before playing this game? Yeah, no thanks. Look, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm not going to be doing any homework before playing. If I'm expected to read a bunch of books, watch several YouTube videos, and complete a 500-word essay before I can even start the game, then the game's story has already failed before we've even started. I'm going into this game only with the knowledge I got from the previous games and nothing else, because I want to see if it can stand on its own. So with that, let's jump right in. After a great example of why I shouldn't be allowed to drive, we find ourselves at Murray's Costume Manor. But who are we in this titular story? Mike Schmidt? William Afton? No, we're Arnold the technician, who's been working several shifts in a row without a break and has been asked to work one more. Jeez, I wasn't expecting to relate to him so much. Our task is to find some technology developed by a guy named Edwin Murray and recover it for Fazbear Incorporated. Seems simple enough, just a short walk through the presentation room and...
Hit it, Mr. Octopus!
Well, geez, I wasn't expecting to meet the coolest character this early on, Mr. Rocktopus. I mean, look at him go. Then, like all my dreams, everything falls apart immediately. After that, we go through a room full of creepy costumes, find the security office, and upgrade our security clearance level. And now it's time to find this technology. I wonder where it could be. Oh, there it is. Our main villain this time round is this robot that I believe is supposed to be the Mimic. Aside from hunting you down and chasing you, he's able to put on different costumes throughout the warehouse, so one moment he might be an elephant, and the next he's a dog or a mushroom. And with so many different costumes throughout the warehouse, you never know which one he might be in. I actually really like this mechanic, because it builds this idea that our villain could literally be anywhere, or anyone, and at any moment, one of these numerous costumes could come to life and attack us. And even if I think I know what costume he's in, he could switch at any moment and catch me off guard. After a bit of exploring, we find a giant present, and inside we find... After we eventually open it... Oh shoot, you're the one on the cover of the game. You must be important. Alright, good talk. Well, I guess I'll just continue on my way. That was weird. I was expecting her to do something more... No, Jackie, I don't want to play. We then have a chase scene, which, look, I'm gonna be honest, I've made it clear how I feel about chase scenes in my last few videos. I think they're an overused and cheap way to do horror because they're all exactly the same. Throw a player in a maze with some loud music and some sounds to indicate something is right behind you, and boom, you've got horror. My biggest complaint with them is if you get caught and have to start all over, any suspense the game is built up is gone because now my focus isn't on the spooky stuff happening around me, it's just focusing on getting to the end of the section. I'm also not a fan when they throw in a puzzle or additional tasks into the chase because now I'm not just focused on surviving, but I'm looking around for buttons or levers or anything I might need to open a door. I will say though, I do like the extending arms that Jackie uses during the chase because it's a great way to make her feel like she's much closer than she actually is to the player. But aside from that, it's your run-of-the-mill chase scene. After we defeat Jackie, we find ourselves back in the security office. And now it's time to get the next level of security clearance. And that's pretty much the whole game. You go to a new area, you complete a stealth section with a mimic, you play through a mini game, you get the next clearance level, and you finish it off with a chase scene with a new villain. It might seem like I'm dismissing the game for being repetitive, but I actually really like this gameplay loop. The stealth sections add unique mechanics like items that make noise to attract them to your location, or the mimic using roller skates to move much faster. The mini games were also pretty fun because they were short focused experiences. The only real issue I had was with, you guessed it, the chase scenes. Look, I get previous FNAF titles had chase scenes, but those were usually because the player made a mistake and had to run before they got a game over. It was a punishment to the player, but also an opportunity to recover from their mistake. But forcing us to run down these narrow hallways to run from a threat just feels lame. Like FNAF, you added so many unique mechanics to this game that do a great job of building suspense and horror. Why shoehorn in all these chase scenes? It also feels like such a waste to introduce all these new characters, only for them to boil down to scary thing that chases you and then gets destroyed. Like, Jackie's on the cover of the game and a ton of the advertising, but we defeat her in the first hour and she never comes back. I don't know, it just feels like a major missed opportunity. After we get the final security clearance, we steal the schematics, and now it's time to leave the... Wait, what is that? Hang on, I think I've seen this guy before. Yeah, that's right, he's on the cover of one of those Tales to the Pizzaplex books. Wait a minute, is this game based on the books? Scott, are you gonna make me read a book? You monster. Okay, so yes, several of the characters are from the books, including Edwin, the guy whose schematics we're stealing, the Mimic, and this Tiger Rock guy. Thankfully, it looks like none of this information is needed for the game. I think this game is like Into the Pit, where it reinterprets the story and puts its own twist on it, rather than copying it outright, which to me is the best approach. It gives fans that might not want to read the books an opportunity to experience the story, and fans who have read the books the ability to see the story reinterpreted, or learn what happens to the characters outside of the books. So, after a creepy encounter with Tiger Rock, we finally make it back to the security office. We turn over our data diver with the highest security clearance, and then we go home. That's it. Seems a bit lackluster. Wait a minute, the guy on the radio wasn't the same guy who sent us here in the first place.
There you are. We've been trying to get a hold of you all night.
Did we just get tricked? Well, at least we escaped the building and... Oh, the Mimic catches us and... stuffs us inside a suit like in the first game? That's actually a pretty cool callback to the original. Well, obviously, we got a bad ending, so we'll need to see what we can do differently. So we load back in, decide not to listen to the voice, and instead we activate a secret protocol on the computer, taking us deeper in the facility where we find Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria? Geez, what is it with steel wool and hiding entire restaurants under buildings? We actually find out that this is a prototype to what would become Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and whoever's behind that voice is hiding in the security office and doesn't want us to leave. This is honestly my favorite part of the entire game, because we have to use the spring lock suits to position animatronics in front of the doors and force the villain to run out of power so we can sneak inside, all while avoiding the Mimic who's taken on a suit of trash to try to stop us. This reversal is actually really cool because we get to experience the original game from the perspective of the animatronics, and seeing all the suits that would later become iconic characters is a really good treat. I get it's all here for fan service, but I am all for it. After we finally shut down the power, we get into the security office to find Edwin's wife, who is actually a computer and has been the Mrs. Helper lady helping us the entire time?
Use the costume lift to access the theater booth.
This was a twist I honestly didn't see coming. I figured she was just some default voice assistant only here to help us do the minigames, not an actual character. And finding out his wife is actually a robot he built out of grief when she passed away was a twist I was not expecting. Most of the time in this series, if somebody's building a robot family member, it's usually one of their kids that they want to bring back. To my knowledge, we've never seen somebody do it with their spouse, which does offer a unique dynamic. It's honestly nice to see them mix up the story a bit because I can't believe I'm saying this, but the kid story feels a bit played out at this point. His wife gives us one final mission, to travel to Edwin's house and ask him to repair the mimic robot that's been chasing us all night. We board the underground tram and we're in the final level. Our final challenge is to explore Edwin's house and collect old home movies containing a code to the final door, all while avoiding the mimic. And for a final challenge, I really like this a lot. It has us taking everything we learned throughout the game and putting it to one final test. But after all that, we get the final code, make it to the final room, and we have another chase scene. I mean, what were you expecting? Although I will say, I actually like this one a lot. Well, the second half of it anyway. The final section has multiple paths to the exit, but there's an army of trash robots that start crawling out of the vents and walls, forcing you to turn around and find another way around them. This one works so well because there isn't one set path to take. You have to avoid this ever-growing army of trash robots, all while trying to find the exit. The fast-paced nature of this scene works really well because you don't have time to properly plan a route. You're forced to take whatever you can find to the exit. But once we finally leave, we hop in our van and we drive away. However, the trash robots start attacking us while we drive away. We're able to shake them off, but then the mimic shows up, ready to attack us one final time. He forces our van to crash, and as we lay in the wreckage, we see the mimic walk by. He reaches down and grabs our data diver, and then he walks away. Man, that was an intense ending, but I can see why this is the secret ending. It does a great job at opening the door for future games and gives theorists a lot to theorize about, and wait, New Game Plus? Are you telling me there's another ending? So, after all this, we still haven't seen the secret ending. In order to get that, you must start a new game on New Game Plus, collect all the collectibles for a secret text adventure minigame in the security office, where the items that you've gathered can be used to get further in that game. So, I started a new game, found all the collectibles, including the text and audio logs. Thank you, Elysius, for your Steam guide. I did get to explore some of the areas I missed the first time, like the storybook showroom and the party room, but the entire time I kept thinking about one thing. Why does this game have a New Game Plus mode? Because aside from adding one item at the very beginning, it is the exact same as the original playthrough. It feels so pointless, like, thank God I decided to go for other collectibles and achievements, so I had something interesting to work on. But if I was just playing to see all the endings, I'd be miserable. But after I found all the collectibles and found the correct path to beat the Moon.exe video game, I'm granted one more level of permission that I can use to access secret doors in Edwin's house to find 6 bedtime story cartridges. Put all those cartridges in the secret wall and grab the one item I got in New Game Plus, and I'm ready for one final boss battle against the Mimic, where he turns into a small child robot and I press buttons on his storybook to match the pictures on the wall until he decides to go to sleep. That's it. That's the secret ending. I mean, sure, it's the best ending for all the characters, but it's just so boring. Like, first ending, obviously meant to be fake. Second ending shows us what happened to Edwin. We get to have this great final level where we have to find the code to the door, and that cliffhanger ending that opens up the story for new opportunities. But this is just so generic. I mean, this is Five Nights at Freddy's. What happened to the secret endings with huge lore reveals or mysteries for fans to solve? Remember the box at the end of FNAF 4? People went crazy trying to solve it. But this ending? No, the Mimic's done. We're all done. Time to go home. Claim that $25 gift card. No, it doesn't matter. Everything's done. Look, I know it might seem dumb to get upset over the happiest ending, and normally I really wouldn't care, but to make players go through all this extra effort of beating the game twice, finding all the collectibles, and beating that stupid text adventure, just to have something this generic, honestly, it feels like a waste of time. Like, it is clear this is not meant to be the true ending, because the Mimic does come back for the Ruin DLC, and it's clear he's being set up to be the new villain of the series with all the books and the teasers about him in other games, when Security Breach had multiple endings, it was really hard to tell which one was the real one, but in this game, it's pretty obvious. Unless I'm missing some critical piece of information? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if I'm the only one who didn't like this ending. But how do I feel about the game overall? I mean, it's alright. I did have fun playing through this game, and there's a lot that I like, but I feel like we've seen it all before. Seeing so many new ideas overshadowed by ones done to death in other games felt like a step backwards. Like, did we really need so many of these hide and seek sections? It was fun the first time, but having to run around and collect items while avoiding a threat gets old really fast, especially when you have to do it twice. And if you're gonna add a New Game Plus mode, make sure it's worth doing. It feels insulting to the player's time to expect them to complete your game twice for one item at the beginning and a lackluster ending. I am curious to see where Steelwool goes from here though. I feel like the lore has just gotten too complicated and the modern games are finding ways to cram more stuff into existing story rather than trying to tell their own interesting story. I do hope we start seeing some better games coming out from Steelwool Studios. I think Megacat's going to keep adapting the books, which is honestly a good thing for them to do. I had a lot of fun with Into the Pit and I hope we get to see more book adaptations in the future, but I do think Steelwool has a great opportunity to start writing their own unique stories. I mean, it is clear Five Nights at Freddy's is not going anywhere, so have fun with it. Try doing one-off stories or things that don't have huge lore implications. They could just make a story for fun and people would love it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!